Okay, joining me now, Leslie Vinjamuri. Leslie is an Associate Professor of International Relations at SOAS at the University of London. Welcome. So much to talk about. Many people have, well, some people have described yesterday's speech as a 77-minute therapy session, presidential therapy session. He lied a lot. He made a lot of accusations. He didn't mention the missing sailors. He didn't mention his big foreign policy speech on Afghanistan. The question now, and I put it to you, impossible question if you like, is Donald Trump unfit for office?
Well, I think there are a lot of people who are very concerned now because I think, just remember, this is 1 week after Charlottesville, and Charlottesville was really crucial for understanding how the American people are responding to this president, because a lot of bottom lines were crossed when it comes to speaking out against neo-Nazis, against white supremacy, and taking a very certain kind of moral position. He didn't do that. And there was a sense that maybe he had walked back. His speech even a day ago in Afghanistan seemed more presidential. He's released Steve Bannon from the White House and has John Kelly in place. And yet here we see 1 week after Charlottesville, a return to a rhetoric that goes right back to the base, that tries to stoke up the base on the same issues that we've seen him turn to in the past, and violent, you know, sort of protests, tear gas.
And it's always when he's off script as well that we suddenly get this, the more honest, open, this is who Donald Trump really is. I mean, one of the interesting things about his speech last night is the way he went after, not just the media, we're kind of used to that, but he went after his own Republican colleagues as well. Not naming one of them in particular, and he was in his home state in Arizona, but let's just listen to what the president said, kind of about John McCain.
We were just one vote away from victory after 7 years of everybody proclaiming repeal and replace. One vote away. But you know, they all said, Mr. President, your speech was so good last night. Please, please, Mr. President, don't mention any names. So I won't. I won't.
What is all that about? I mean, he's not naming any names, but it's pretty obvious he's talking about a U.S. war hero, a popular man throughout America. He's got better words to say about Kim Jong-un than he does about Senator John McCain.
Well, I think Donald Trump is very worried about Congress, about the support that he wants to get from the Senate and from Congress more generally to move forward with this legislative agenda. And remember that he's not getting that support from Arizona right now. Senator McCain was the person who voted against repeal and replace, and Senator Flake has not supported this president and faces competition from his own party going forward, the midterms. And Trump, of course, is trying to influence that particular race. So this is actually, I think, a quite targeted move. Remember that the mayor didn't want him to come to Phoenix, and yet he still went because he's really trying to shape that particular election, to rally the base, to shift politics in order, I think, to return to Washington and try to push through many of his proposals.
But is there any logic to it, though? He can rally the base and continue to do that as he's done all along. We expect that now, but attacking the media in such kind of hateful terms as he has done, attacking his own senators as well. I mean, even if he rallies the base and continues to have their support, can that get him elected again when he's alienated so many others? Yeah,
so it's a very short-term tactic. It might have some success in terms of influencing that choice of who's going to be who Arizona's going to run for that seat in the midterms. But the longer term, what's at stake in the long term is very consequential, because now America's looking at a president who's walked back from his decision to try and get back on board. He's now returning to this rhetoric, and I think the nation's looking at this very differently now, 1 week post-Charlottesville. So I think in the long term, it's a very dangerous game. He's attacking the judiciary by threatening to actually pardon Sheriff Joe, right, who is up, you know,
Joe Arpaio.
Exactly. So I think that's seen as an attack on the judiciary. He's attacking Congress. He's threatening the media. So it's very, very incendiary. So in the long term, it's not an effective strategy.
They're attacking everyone who just isn't completely on board the Trump train.
That's right.
Leslie, we have to leave it there, but thank you very much for your analysis.